Hey everybody, welcome back to Grit and Grind. So today we're talking about the LS tractor and one of the issues that a lot of people seem to be having with the quick attach. In the last video, we brought this tractor home getting ready for the imminent snow, but it wasn't just me who was having problems with the skidster style quick attach that is on the loader. A lot of people in the LS forums were having these issues. So I wanted to make a standalone video addressing it because I think I finally figured out what the issue is, and it took a little bit to get there. So let's talk about it and talk about how nice this machine has been once we solve that. So anyone who is familiar with a skidster style quick attach knows that all you have to do is raise that up to disengage the pin that goes into your attachment, which I'll disconnect this from the bucket and I'll show you ultimately what we did, but just want to explain how it works. So if you look, there is that pin that rides on that lever. When you pull it up, it disengages from the bottom of your attachment, whatever it is. In this case, it's a bucket. And when I first got this machine, I got it with two attachments, the bucket and a set of forks that I got straight from LS, right at my dealer. I don't know if these are technically LS branded buckets and attachments, but they could be. It doesn't actually say on here. Neither here nor there, because I'm familiar with the skidster quick attaches. I have a skidster too. I have a lot of different attachments for it, so it was nice to have that quick attach system on there. I already have a lot of other attachments I could put on here, which is kind of nice. That's why when buying a tractor, I highly suggest that you consider getting one with quick attach plates. Anyway, neither here nor there. So you understand how that works. The issue that I was having with this bucket and the forks, which were both brand new, they were bought in April of 2025, right when I bought the tractor, is that they were really stiff. And this one, I couldn't even get down. It would, and I'm just putting pressure on here, I'm not actually trying to force this down right now, it would dead stop right about there. And I couldn't figure out what the issue was. So there are many ways to tackle this, but I think to make this easier to show, I'm going to disconnect the bucket. I'll raise this up in the air so then I can kind of explain what's going on, what might work for you, but ultimately what did work for me, because I tried a combination of things to get this working. And I think I finally have it solved. Hopefully it'll help you. Let me raise this up in the air, and then I'll come back to you and we'll explain. Alright, so as you can see, I've taken the bucket off. I have the loader up in the air. No, I'm not going to get underneath this loader, but I'm going to explain to you a couple things that you could do. And basically everything that I walk through, not necessarily in the order that I walk through it, but I'm standing in the bucket in front of this loader. So if this loader did come down, because I don't have it propped up right now, it will not hit me. So parking brakes also installed. We're on a flat surface, not that this tractor is really going to roll anywhere. But you have a couple bits of adjustments. You have a lock nut washer and spring right here for tension on this quick attach, in or out, which stiffens this lever or not. The other thing you have is a spring right here with a nut that you can loosen, which puts tension on that spring, or that pin ultimately, which comes through bottom of there like that. So I'm going to leave this one down for demonstration purposes. This one's up. And same thing on this side. Both of these are set up the same way. So I backed this nut out and this nut out too to kind of relieve tension on this. That didn't work for me. As you can see, there's a lot of grease coming out of here because I greased the pin really well. There's actually a grease fitting underneath there. Same right there. I'm not going to touch it because I'm just going to make a mess. So put a lot of grease on there. That didn't work. I was still having issues with getting this to attach to this bucket and also the set of forks. But weirdly enough, the skid steer that you've seen in my other videos, I was able to put this bucket and those forks onto that skid steer without a problem. I didn't have the hard dead stop like I did when I was trying to put this one down, and this one was always tight. So we called the dealer thinking that maybe something was bent, see if he knew anything, because again, I went on the forums and everyone was saying they were having problems with these. And just a little bit of tweaked on this actual plate, this quick attach plate, could cause something there. So I told him, he said, okay, let me come down. I'll take a look at it. You don't have to bring it in, which was nice. I mean, my shop where this was sitting for the last few months, it it wasn't too far away or anything like that, but he offered to come down and take a look. So he came out, he looked at it, he couldn't find anything bent. He messed with trying to attach it and detach it from this bucket, couldn't really find anything, and ultimately determined these were not bent. Now, he was thinking maybe it was just stiff, needed to be worn in, which is something that I also thought too, because these are brand new attachments, brand new quick attach. The skid steer has been around since it's like a late 90s, early 2000s model. So I know that that's got some slop in it, worn out. Okay. But I wanted to make it a little better from there. And again, my dealer was really nice with me. Highly recommend them. Middleport Tractor, if you're in Western New York, around the Lockport Medina area, check them out. I'll leave a link in the description below just so you guys can go get anything you might want LS related. They've been great to me. So, to make this a little bit better in the meantime, we actually ground on these pins, which these pins are hardened. I couldn't tell you exactly what they're made out of, but you will do a lot of grinding for a little bit of payoff, and not a lot of material will come off here. So ground the front, and as this comes down to a point, which I will demonstrate for you, comes down to a point on that side. So we ground that down on both of these, and it got better, but this one was still super tight and kind of seemed like it hit an actual dead spot, like a stop spot. So the next thing we did was actually cut a little bit out of that bucket right there, because the bucket was a lot harder to go onto. I got it to go onto the forks okay. That little notch, thinking, oh, it's got to be catching on that edge and not releasing. But that still didn't fix it. So, what finally did do it, and I'm hoping this might help out a lot of LS owners, is instead of taking off the front or the back side of this, had to actually grind this bottom edge and flatten it out. And when thinking through this and comparing to other attachments that we had, anyone who knows attachments might be able to already tell me exactly what the problem is there. Something that's a little bit of a design difference in these attachments, which the forks also have it, and some of the other attachments that you get. Zooming in here, though, that isn't a hole. That is just metal. So usually on about 90% of the attachments or 95% of the attachments I've ever dealt with, that is actually just straight through. And I'm going to put up a picture right now of another bucket that we have, and this is going to show you exactly what I was talking about, because this is just a normal skidster bucket. Hey guys, so as you can see from this picture on this bucket, there is no metal bottom. It's just a straight pass-through hole, so that way you don't have anything to get caught on. And looking at a lot of our other attachments that we have, they're all set up the same way. It just seems to be the bucket and the forks that I got from my LS dealer that are different. And this is going to show you exactly what I was talking about, because this is just a normal skidster bucket. So coming back to this, the bottom of that pin was hitting on that bottom of that attachment on the bucket. So I actually didn't even need to grind out right here on the edge. So at some point, I'm going to fix that, weld it back up. You could either grind the pins, the edge of the pins, which is what we opted for, or I suppose you could cut out the bottom of that plate to allow for that pin to actually drop in there all the way, and you won't have to worry about that happening. So ultimately, if you find yourself having these problems, I recommend a couple things. Check your tension on your quick attach. Make sure you grease them. Grease. And then actually try, and it works better if you have two people, attach your quick attach back onto whatever it is that you're trying to attach to. Lift it up in the air. Doesn't necessarily have to be this tall, but lift it up in the air. Try putting it down and see what's actually catching. And that's ultimately how we fix this. And I also told this to my local LS dealer, and he said, perfect. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket for anyone else who comes down here. So hopefully this finally solves the mystery of why these LS quick attaches are so hard to put on any attachment. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap it up on the LS242 tractor and the quick attach issues that we're running into. So let me know in the comments below, did you find this helpful? Or tell me, what did it take for you to adjust these? Maybe there's something that I missed that I didn't have to do on my tractor. But I'm glad we got it solved, because winter is coming and we're going to need this, not so much for switching out attachments, but we're going to need this to plow snow in the driveway and maybe help out a couple of neighbors along the way. So guys, if you do like this content, feel free to share it with whoever you think would find it interesting. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. There's going to be some more videos that are popping up on your screen now. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content.